Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. Today, we are going to be looking at cricket. We're going to be talking about a recent series between Pakistan and South Africa.
Yeah, some really interesting stuff came out of this series.
It was a pretty wild finish.
Definitely not the outcome that many people expected.
Yeah, I think it surprised a lot of people. So we're talking about the third and final one-day international at the Wanderers Stadium in Johannesburg on December 22nd, 2024. And Pakistan was already up 2-0 in the series, but this final match turned out to be anything but a formality.
Yeah, it was a pretty decisive victory for Pakistan, resulting in a 3-0 series sweep. And put that into perspective, that was South Africa's first ever home ODI series whitewash.
Whoa.
Which means they didn't win a single match.
Wow. That's got to sting.
Yeah, not exactly the outcome that many expected, especially considering how both these teams were performing leading into the series.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because Pakistan was on a roll. They had won 4 consecutive series earlier in 2024, whereas South Africa had lost 1 out of their 3 series. So you can imagine the surprise when Pakistan not only won, but just completely dominated. So before we dive into the specifics of this final match, do you think that this unexpected result could signal like a changing of the guard in international cricket?
It's a possibility, but I think it's important to kind of analyze all the factors at play before you go making those pronouncements.
Right.
But what is undeniable is the exceptional performance of the Pakistani team, and particularly their batting.
Oh, yeah. Their batting was phenomenal. I mean, they posted a formidable total of 308 runs, even with a rain delay. And a huge chunk of those runs came from one man, Saim Ayub. He just smashed his 2nd century of the series, his 3rd in just 5 innings. It's incredible. And what's even more impressive is that this wasn't just like a case of brute force. You know, he was really strategic, picking his moments to attack and showcasing incredible placement.
Yeah, Ayub's performance was really the backbone of Pakistan's innings. But it's important to note that he wasn't acting in isolation. There were some crucial partnerships that really set the stage for their victory. So you had Ayub and Babar Azam. They built a 114-run partnership. And then Ayub teamed up with Mohammad Rizwan for another 93 runs. So the consistent partnership building is something that Pakistan did really well throughout the series.
So it was a real team effort, which makes it even more remarkable. It wasn't just like one star player carrying the team, but like a collective effort that led to their success.
Exactly. And that's, I think, where we see one of the key differences between the two teams in this series. Pakistan had that consistent strategic approach to building their innings, whereas South Africa seemed to rely a little bit more on individual brilliance, which, while impressive, didn't prove quite as effective in the long run.
Let's shift gears a little bit and look at South Africa's side of the story. They faced an adjusted target due to that rain delay, but still couldn't chase down Pakistan's total. Heinrich Klaasen continued his strong form, scoring a half-century in this match as well, which made him the leading run scorer for the entire series. But sadly, he didn't get much support from his teammates. And I have to say, as exciting as Ayub's performance was, it was kind of heartbreaking to see Klaasen's efforts go unrewarded. What do you make of South Africa's batting woes?
Klaasen's consistency is commendable, but as you pointed out, the lack of support from the other batsmen is a glaring issue. I mean, even Corbin Bosch, who had a solid debut with a 40-run knock, couldn't quite fill the void. It just seemed like there was a lot of pressure on individual players to perform, rather than a cohesive team effort. And that strategy, as we saw, just wasn't enough against a well-oiled machine like Pakistan. And it does raise questions about their approach and whether they need to foster more collaborative batting partnerships.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because looking back at the match details, there were some other key players whose contributions I think shouldn't be overlooked. On Pakistan's side, debutant Sufyan Mukim had a fantastic outing. He bagged 4 wickets. His wrist spin proved really difficult for the South African batsman to handle.
Absolutely. Mukiom's performance was a revelation. And I think it highlights a significant weakness for South Africa. And that is their struggle against spin bowling. And, this vulnerability wasn't just limited to this match. It was a recurring theme throughout the series.
I was going to say, it sounds like this is definitely a tactical area they might need to address, especially with the Champions Trophy coming up. Other teams will surely have taken note of this weakness.
Indeed. And it wasn't just their batting that struggled. Their bowling attack also seemed to lack the same kind of bite and discipline that we've come to expect from South Africa. Their seamers in particular were quite expensive, giving away too many runs.
Yeah, it's a shame because they do have some incredibly talented bowlers. Do you think that this dip in form is a cause for concern? Or is it just like a temporary blip?
Well, it's too early to say for sure. But it's definitely something that they'll need to analyze and rectify, especially, their top-order batting. Tembo Bavuma's struggles continued in this series.
Yeah.
And even Rassi Valderdusen, who's usually so reliable, couldn't manage a single half-century. And that's a big concern when you're trying to set or chase big totals.
Yeah, right. The lack of consistency in their top order was really noticeable. It felt like they were always playing catch-up. But going back to Pakistan, we can't forget the contributions of other key players who helped to solidify their victory. You mentioned the batting partnerships, of course, but what about their bowling attack?
Oh, absolutely. We can't talk about Pakistan's bowling without mentioning Shaheen Shah Afridi and Naseem Shah. They were both brilliant, consistently putting pressure on the South African batsmen and picking up crucial wickets.
It's almost like they have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to bowling talent. And speaking of talent, earlier we were discussing Saim Ayub's, incredible batting prowess. But he also contributed with the ball in this match, picking up a wicket for 34 runs. Talk about an all-rounder. Do you think his bowling is often overlooked because of his phenomenal batting?
There's no doubt that his batting overshadows his bowling. But he's proving to be a genuine asset with the ball as well. And his ability to contribute in both departments makes him just an invaluable player for Pakistan.
It's amazing to see a young player like him flourishing on the international stage. And he's not the only one. Pakistan seems to have a real knack for nurturing young talent.
Yeah, they've got a great blend of experience and youthful exuberance. So players like Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan, they bring that stability and a wealth of experience to the batting lineup, while youngsters like Ayub and Muqayyam inject that energy and fresh perspective. It's a winning formula for sure.
So after analyzing this series in detail, do you think this win signifies a more permanent shift in the pecking order of international cricket? Or is it too early to tell?
Well, it's definitely a statement. Pakistan has shown that they are a force to be reckoned with, capable of dismantling even the most formidable opponents. But, to declare a definitive shift in power, we'll need to see how they perform against other top teams in different conditions.
Yeah, true consistency across different formats and against varied opponents is key. But there's no denying that this series win will boost their confidence and momentum heading into the Champions Trophy.
Absolutely, and conversely, this whitewash presents a significant challenge for South Africa. They have some soul-searching to do, some weaknesses to address, and they need to do it quickly if they want to be competitive in the Champions Trophy.
It'll be fascinating to see how both teams evolve in the coming months. But for now, let's shift our focus to you, the listener. We've delved into the specifics of the match, the performances of key players, and the strategic aspects of the game. What stands out to you as the most significant takeaway from this series? What surprised you the most?
Yeah, it really does make you think about the evolving landscape of the game. But before we get too carried away with the bigger picture, let's loop back to one player who's undeniably caught everyone's attention, Saim Ayub, just a few years ago. He was a name known only to the most devoted cricket fans, and now he's making headlines worldwide. Do you think he's on track to become one of the greats?
It's incredible, isn't it? To see his rise. I mean, it feels like we're witnessing the beginning of something truly special. He has this amazing blend of raw talent and composure that you rarely see in someone so young. And he just seems to thrive under pressure.
I think what sets Ayub apart is his adaptability. We've seen him anchor the innings, accelerate the scoring rate when needed, and even pick up crucial wickets with the ball. He's a complete package, and that's what makes him such a threat to opposing teams.
Yeah, he's definitely one to watch, that's for sure. And speaking of watching, are there any other rising stars that are kind of on your radar? Any players who you think might be on the verge of greatness?
Well, from this series, Corbin Bosch definitely showed glimpses of his potential. He had a solid debut even amidst South Africa's struggles. And then from Pakistan's side, Safian Muqayyam's debut was truly remarkable. His wrist spin could become a major weapon for them in the years to come.
It's great how there's always this new generation of players ready to step up and leave their mark on the game. And that's what makes sports so captivating, right? The constant evolution, the unpredictability, the emergence of new heroes. You can analyze the stats, you can study the form all you want, but in the end, it's those unexpected moments that make us jump out of our seats.
Couldn't agree more. That element of surprise, the defiance of expectations, that's what makes it so thrilling.
Exactly. So who knows what the future holds? Maybe we'll see South Africa stage a phenomenal comeback. Or perhaps Pakistan will solidify their dominance. Or maybe, just maybe, a new underdog will emerge and completely shake things up. The beauty of it is we just don't know.
That's the magic of sports.
Like Klaus said. So to everyone listening, Keep your eyes on the world of cricket. It's going to be a thrilling ride. This has been The Deep Dive, your shortcut to being well-informed. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning,
and keep diving deep.